Going, so if we can all stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everybody, welcome. Kathy, if you can do a roll call, please.
You got it. Saban. Present. Schreiber.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Galogli.
Here.
Duskin.
Here.
Lobes.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Beretta.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, very good. Is Ernest is in the house tonight to open us in prayer.
Night, Father God, your word said, in all thy ways acknowledge you and you'll direct our path. So we look to the hills from which our help come from, and that comes from you, Father God. So we ask you to bless and lead. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ernest. All right, anybody got anything going on in liaison reports tonight?
I have a few things. Is that all right? First thing was, yesterday was the Triad meeting, which was another great success for them. 25 people attended and 7 attended during Zoom. And please join us next month. It's going to be monthly now for the next meeting. Additionally, it's that time of year for bikes. If anybody has any bikes in their garage they want to give up, the police station is collecting bikes right now. Terry Lemming said 8 to 5, bring him the bikes. He'll take them, he'll repair them by May 15th is the day we repair the bikes. So if you have any other used bikes at home that you don't want anymore, or nice bikes at home that you don't want, he will take them and repair them on May 15th with a team of people. Oh yeah, Sonny's been doing it, Lisa's done it, who else has done it? Anybody else? Ben? I know my daughter's done it, so if anybody else wants to come and repair bikes, May 15th. But that money goes to the Resource Center for the Transformation Scholarship, which is available in the community. And I noticed on their website they give that out in December. Do you have the date of the next Triad, Terry, or? You don't. Darren, do you know the date for the next one? I know I didn't get it yesterday, but it is going to be, I think, the third week in April. And then one last thing, I did get an opportunity to volunteer at the Will County Health Department. As of yesterday, they had 68,248 residents fully vaccinated. So 185,719 vaccinations were given out. I know a lot of people are still asking about how to get appointments. It is still hard, but at the end of the night, a lot of places have some open slots. And so they always will stay open until they get rid of them because the vaccines are still on short demand if you can't get in on the time slot. But it seems like it's getting better. I know Lockport High School is going to have the firemen doing it again on Saturday. So there's a lot more places now that are giving out vaccines. So they're coming. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Anybody else got anything?
I know Ben was going to say something, but since he's not here, I will say something. I think 2 weeks ago, the majority of the council was a little shocked when they heard about the ribbon cutting at Holiday Inn Express. We looked into that, and the chamber apologizes. That was an email blast. There was an error in the email blast. The council is not listed with their blast list. They are like considered guests, and the wrong button was hit. So going forward in the future, they have added council to be like chamber members so that we should be getting those in the future. So they just wanted to apologize for that, I guess, slight miss last year, or 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right, very good. Anybody else? I'll just mention something. So, we had nominated for Strong Towns. I think some of you guys may have seen the post going out there. Thank you to staff for filling out the applications. So, out of a whole lot of applications across the country, we made the final 16, which is great. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that we should make the final 16. But now it just comes down to popularity contest. So now it's just the bracket voting. So, we've put some posts out encouraging people to follow the link and go on there and vote Illinois style, right? And as long as you got a valid email or emails, you can continue to do so. And we need to, because they put us up against a town of 90,000 people. So, you know, we're going to have to go the extra mile with voting on that. So, but even to make the top 16 has been a really fun thing. It's also been the same book, Strong Towns, that been doing the book club with at the library. So that's been a great opportunity for residents to come in, and we talk about you know, the book and what it means for development and where we're going, what we're doing right, what we could do better in Lockport. So that's been a nice community outreach that we've been able to do. But in any case, I think voting ends tomorrow at noon. So if you haven't done so already, please get out there and click that link. All right. Sounds like everything. So, Sonny, are you going to take CA1?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. I am in place of Ben, you know, the city administrator, without the height or the bald spot in the back. Don't tell him that. So CA1, it deals with the quiet zone for the BNSF rail crossing. Obviously, the council communication memo indicated the history behind the city's purpose and need to get a quiet zone. It's been ongoing since 2012, and there's been, you know, reports done, and we have currently professional service agreement with HR Green to assist us in, you know, the application, getting the funding, the grants, and everything else. And it turns out, due to the purchase of the Chevron property, they will be able to assist us even more to be able to get this into fruition finally. The only thing that's required is that there's an additional service that they would be providing. So the original agreement that the City Council approved called for $118,560. There would be an additional service at the cost of $61,580 to make sure that these two rail crossing that has BNSF, which has the most trains crossing it, to be able to finally get the needed quiet for the west side of Lockport. And so if there's any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them, but we are requesting that Resolution 21-047 be placed on the consent agenda to approve the amendment to the professional service agreement with HR Green for the amount that I stated, an amount not to exceed $145,000 total, with about 20% contingency in order to continue that quiet zone and be able to improve the quality of life to the residents of Lockport.
All right, questions, concerns? All right, we'll put it on consent then.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next is CED1.
This is a facade grant. I think there is a slide. Is there
These are all the slides. I didn't
the quiet zone?
talk about the quiet zone. This is why Ben's not here. Well, we're missing him. Yep, there you go.
This is a facade grant request for 616 South State Street. This is Delwood Tire. I'm sure many of you have noticed the large sheet of plywood that was placed up in their window a couple of weeks ago. They have been working to try and repair that. And have requested a facade grant for this. In essence, the two windows that you see in the image there surrounded by the checkerboard are what will be replaced. That's where the plywood is now. It will be replaced with the image to the right, the drawing to the right, with two windows. They're going to have some smart siding that will basically replace the red and white checkerboard pattern, and then an awning that is similar to Stella's on State that they have a little bit further south on State Street on the west side. It will look very similar to that. It will have Delwood Tire and Auto on the main part of the awning, and then the address on the balance. The request is for $9,762.50. We request and recommend that it be placed on the consent or action items for next meeting.
So this is outside of the H&A's purview, right out of
Yes.
the border?
Yes, correct.
You have any thoughts on this, one way or another?
No, it meets all of our typical H&A requirements. The only thing that does vary from what we typically require in H&A is that they do not have the name of the store on the main part of the awning itself. However, there is precedent outside of the historic district to have that.
Any thoughts, questions, concerns? All right, sounds like a consent agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty, next is PW1, Stormwater Program Design and Construction.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I would like to mention is I brought a few of these handouts for tonight. These are our 2020 projects that we've done. So one thing that the department is trying to do is just to get the word out, kind of show what all the time and the effort and the summers of construction, kind of what they lead to. So I'd like to pass these around. I did not get in here soon enough, so I apologize for that. If you can take one and pass those around. Item PW-1 this evening, 2021 Stormwater Program, Design and Construction Engineering Services. Annually, we do a stormwater project. Typically, we have allocated $100,000 this year. Just due to the number of locations and the number of stormwater concerns that we have on an annual basis, we requested $200,000, and council did put that into the budget for the year. The project for this year we're looking to do is Janus Street. So Janus Street from Connor over to Briggs, east-west, we're looking to install storm sewer in front yards. So basically, we're not going to do a lot of work within the road. There's not going to be a lot of torn up impacts. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a location for the downspouts and the sump pumps to get directly into the storm sewer. In this area, we have a lot of sanitary backups. It's our furthest upstream line. And with that, we've throughout the years, we've had a lot of backups. This is due to heavy rain events, having all of that groundwater get into our system. We have tried lining, we've tried smoke testing, we've tried a lot of things, and so we feel like this is really going to make a significant impact. So this year we're asking for the award to go to Baxter and Woodman. Again, this is for the actual design. Once the design is put into place, then we'll come back to council with a cost estimate and a set of plans to go out to bid. The cost, or the design, my apologies, the design is currently at $66,555. This is on a time and material basis, so it's a not to exceed cost. Again, this is for the phase 2, so this is the design engineering, and also the phase 3, the construction engineering services. We would ask for this to be placed onto the consent agenda for the next meeting. Approve resolution number 21-045, awarding the project to Baxter and Woodman in the amount of $66,555. Any questions?
All right, questions, concerns?
I've got some comments. This is a project that I've worked on for probably about 7 years now. The need for this is a great idea back post-World War II, where they put the infrastructure in the backyards. Okay, this is similar to what we discussed on Holly and Maple and Maitland and all those. This is one of those. It was a good idea, but it turned out to be a bad application of engineering. Now 50, 60 years later. So what happens over there? There's flooding. Okay, there's absolutely. It's very flat there, and so when people discharge their sumps into the backyard, their neighbors and even themselves get flooded. There was a house at the corner of Janus and Briggs that the water had backed up with so much pressure this past summer that actually raised their basement. So this is something that Brett and I've worked on for many, many years. First at Connor, we did some work on Connor and Division. I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago. It's something that should have been done 40 years ago. So when the project does come up in May or June, I ask those that are still sitting here that they vote yes to actually go through with this project. So I'm full support.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Brent, I know this is about 30 homes. Are there any more homes that are not fixed with this situation? Or is there like another block that we need to do, or will this complete the area? Because I know we did Connor, and I know those were a lot of the areas that Darren requested before. Do we now clean up this whole area for the flooding, or is there going to be the next group of 30 homes below it or to the side of it?
This will be a significant improvement. Will it fix it 100%? I don't want to tell you that it will just yet. To the south, so South Street, on the south side of South Street, those homes are not in the same predicament. The houses that back up to Janus, so the houses that are on the north side of South Street, those will be improved just by the sheer fact that we're taking all of this off of the rest of the infrastructure in the area. So while they're not seeing the direct benefit of having that line in front of their house, they're going to see a relief because we're taking all of that water's going into one pipe. Now we're taking all of that water from these 30 houses, putting it into 2 brand new pipes. We're actually going to put 2 pipes down Janus. So the anticipation is that we're going to see a significant improvement in this area. But again, with water and with sanitary sewer, we have done a lot of research on this. So
It'll help, I'm
I'm
sure, because I know I hear about flooding there.
Yeah, so I don't want to guarantee just because we've done last year we did smoke testing, and smoke was coming out of areas that it just was, it's a trying area.
Yeah, I just want to know if it works, then that we'll do the next section if there's
If-
another section.
My hope is that this takes care of it.
Oh, it takes
My
care of the
hope
whole
is
area.
that
Okay,
this
that'll
takes
be
care of
good.
the area. I'm, like I said, I'm a little hesitant to guarantee that. If we don't see the 100% guaranteed, or the 100% fix, there will be probably another 15 homes that.
And then, are there a lot of fences in that area, since you're going through backyards? Will you be able to?
No backyards. So we're actually
Oh,
going to
you're gonna
go
go-
in the front yards.
Okay, you don't have to
There
go
will
that
have
way.
to, there will be a little bit of redirection of the sump pumps that are discharged into the rear yard today. Those will come out to the front. So it'll be more of a piping that we're working with from the residents. So our pipe that we're putting in, nothing in the rear yard. So there's no
Oh,
impacts to
okay.
the rear yard.
So it should be good, okay.
So, yeah, it
That's
should,
good.
should be a
Thank
pretty
you.
easy install.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? So we good with consent then? All right. PW 2.
All right, thank you, Mayor. PW-2 this evening, 2021 sanitary sewer televising engineering services. As council knows, on an annual basis, we're either doing sanitary sewer televising or we're doing sanitary sewer lining. First thing you have to do is you have to televise. So you televise the sewer, you make sure that everything is good, ready to go for future work. We do this ahead of all of our, like this year we're doing 5th to 9th. So in years past, we've televised all these areas to make sure that we don't have any massive breaks that we're going to need to open up the road. Obviously, you don't want to open up the road after you've made all these nice improvements, so we televise ahead of time. If there's some kind of damage, if there's some kind of error, some kind of failure, that's when we fix it. So then when we come through and we do the roads, we're ready. So what we're doing here is we're proposing our annual sanitary sewer televising project. This will allow us to, again, make sure that we don't have any of those failures after we do the full improvement. We're asking for $36,000. This is not to exceed. This is for Baxter and Woodman. So resolution number is 21-046. We're asking for the resolution number 21-046 in the amount of $36,000 be awarded to Baxter and Woodman for the 2021 sanitary sewer televising engineering services, and we're asking for consideration for consent.
All right, questions, concerns, comments? Good with consent then? All right. Last thing, purchase of the F-750.
Thank you, Mayor. PW-3 this evening is for the purchase of a new crane truck. We are in need of basically a crane truck that can adequately lift all of the pumps, all of the equipment, all of the pieces of all of our infrastructure that's out in the field right now. Unfortunately, the crane truck that we have and that we've had, it was just undersized, and so it was pushed to its limits. Basically, what a crane truck, what you have is you've got the arm that comes out. The arm started to have about a 15-degree movement in it when we were trying to lift some of these pumps. And so what that means is that when you're trying to lift that pump, you don't have a stationary arm. That arm is swinging and again, not safe. So long story short, what we're doing is we're trying to get a crane here that will lift anything that we have in the city. It's not going to be devoted to one department. It's in the past, it's more or less, we've had different crane trucks. So we had 2 smaller crane trucks and they were devoted to 2 departments. What we're asking now is to pick one crane truck that's going to lift all of our heavy equipment. We can all share, we can, you know, we don't, it's not an item that's used every day, but now we're going to have a crane truck that's going to be able to lift everything safely. So we're asking for $173,974. This is not part of our source well bid. Our source well bid that we got was just over $183,000. We were able to find one a little bit cheaper, going directly to the manufacturer on this. So we'd be asking for consent in the amount of $173,974 to purchase a 2022 Ford F-750 crane truck, and would entertain any questions.
Anyone got anything? All right, everybody's good with consent then? All right,
Thank you.
consent it is. All right, any new business? Roy, you gonna come up? Come on down. Yeah, under 5, because I'm putting the timer on.
Oh, man. I'm under pressure now to keep this quick and simple. Roy Adcock, you got my address. We don't need to go through all of that. Well, I came here tonight just to clarify some things, because I know last time I was here, things got a little crazy, so we want to make sure everybody's happy tonight. No craziness. First off, want to wish everybody good luck on the upcoming elections for everybody. I know, Darren, you're running, Mayor, everybody else, so good luck to everybody. Whoever wins, congratulations to whoever wins. Wish you all well. Getting back to our water issues, I know there's some things going out there now, so let's just clear the air. We've been knowing about our 135th project, goes all the way back to October on this. This is the last phase, so we're not gonna have to worry about no more water mains over there. Our sewer project is gonna be coming up, so I'm trying to keep everybody informed on that, so we don't have issues that nobody's being informed. I'm hoping that, since I'm on the IGA now, I'll be coming to these city council meetings, so that there is no more information, that we're getting this out there now, that we're hearing. You guys don't know anything that's going on. I don't know why. If it's just hearsay, rumors, I don't want to hear that, okay? So we're just going to be here, play nice in the sandbox, keep you guys posted. Because there's some terrible rumors and emails that are floating out there from certain individuals, and we don't want to get into that, all right? So let's just, water mains are going to be done. Sewer project is coming up next to fix all the raw sewage. We've been working with Brent on that. I think that's a good thing that's going on. We're getting rid of this asbestos water main. The water materials that we're putting in is not sub-materials. They're being used throughout Will County, throughout the state. We're not in violation of the IGA. Everybody knows that. So all of this stuff has to end. Everybody wants to work together. That's part of this IGA, working together. And I think we're doing well at that. Brett and I get along, we meet. I see Dave's here. He's the other half of Bonnie Bray. So I think we've come a long way from where we were before. And that's pretty much what I want to say. And again, I wish everybody well. And Darren, we're going to be working together, because if you win in Lockport Township, we have to come to Lockport Township for the other phase to get out onto Archer to hit Reposh's brother out on the trailer. So we have to work together again, so it'll be fun. Just thought I'd drop that on you, but so that'll be it. You'll be seeing more of me, so that we keep you guys abreast on what's going on and eliminate all these silly rumors, and just come in here and say hi to everybody. Maybe not as often as you want, but we'll be around, all right? Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. All right, nothing else? We'll look for a motion to adjourn. So you get Joanne, heard a second from Catherine, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll let Kathy get set up for city council. Roll call then.
All right, you got it. All right, Saban. Present. Schreiber.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Glogly.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Loebs.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Beretta.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All righty, fantastic. So I'm looking for a motion to have a consent agenda this evening.
So move.
All right, we got Joanne and Renee.
I would like to take an item out of that.
Yep, which one?
The valet parking.
Okay, valet
Yep.
parking will be removed from this. Vote on it as an action. All right, so in the meantime, let's see. All right, so in the meantime, I'm looking for approval for the committee of the whole meeting minutes from March 3rd, city council meeting minutes from March 3rd, our payroll period ending March 7th, request to declare items as surplus, resolution 21037, authorization task order to Strand for the completion of the risk and resiliency assessment for city water supply system, and then the release of the letter of credit for the Highlands of Lockport. So looking for a motion to approve said consent agenda.
So moved.
All right, sounds like Renee and Mark. May I have a roll call, please?
You got it. Saban.
Yes.
Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Glogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Loebs.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Beretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, next we're looking for a motion to approve the authorization for city administrator to enter into the valet service for the remainder of 2021. Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion. Second.
JR, Darren, questions, concerns, comments?
Turn on your mic. Turn on your mic.
I said I've got some testimonies from some people in town that have used the service, because I've been asking around, because I used it a couple weeks ago and it was phenomenal. So Natalie Quirk just said she's happy about the new service. She's a new resident of Lockport and has fallen in love with the downtown feel and feels that the valet service makes the downtown area much more accessible and safe for everyone to visit. And thank you to the local municipality. Natalie Quirk, 2nd Street. Another one comes from Kathy Kelso from Homer. My girls and I would like to compliment Lockport for providing the valet downtown. We came into town and were driving around looking for parking and came across the valet. And free to patrons. We had a wonderful dinner and our car was retrieved quickly. It was worth the tip for the service. Kevin and Shelley on Ottawa Drive. My wife and I used the valet service downtown recently. What a wonderful idea, and we will definitely use it again in the future. I feel it's great for our downtown area and will drive business to these fine restaurants and shops.
All right, very good. I think, we've discussed this in the past, but now that we've pulled it out, it's one of those little micro, adjustments we make that don't have long-term consequences. It's something that is not taxpayer money. It's coming out of the gaming fund. And quite frankly, it's really, you can actually, last month, I think the gaming fund made $27,000, right, for the city. If you figure 4 months, it completely covers this, and more than half of the games are in downtown. They're just paying for their own service is what they're doing with the gaming fund. So it makes sense. Again, they're micro adjustments. We can see how things are working, how they're not working, and again, it's not long-term liability at all. We did ask, it doesn't mean it solves all the problems. We have a bigger workforce down there. So how is that handling parking? I asked Lance to bring in all the businesses so we can have a good discussion about everything from the curbside pickup signs to outdoor seating to where does workforce park? Can we get them to park at City Hall? Can we get them to park at the train station? What are the things we can do as we continue to make little adjustments to embrace the growth and some of the changes that are going on downtown that are all positive. And so just repeating things we've said. So, anything else?
I've had friends from outside of Lockport come downtown for the first time in a long while. They are surprised by what they see. It's been word of mouth. I have people at the high school where I teach talk about downtown Lockport, and when you mention the valet service, it's just the icing on the cake, because it takes the hassle away. It allows them easier access to the places downtown they want to go spend their money at, generating sales tax for this city. And so I just find it to be a creative, unique way to bring people downtown to have an additional service that is, again, using a sin tax to pay for. And I'm very happy with what I've seen so far. I've used it a couple times myself. My friends that have used it, that have lived out of town, have said it is a great experience. It's a great tool to have. And 2 of them actually wished it was in their own city. So I'm really happy for this, and I'm very happy that this will probably move forward.
Yeah, I've had some positive comments too from the business owners. I was talking with Dave Mead today from members, and he says that it's, he's seen a significant increase in his business since the use of this. I was talking to Joe Gallus a couple weeks ago when he was here, and his estimates of what the downtown, all the downtown businesses are doing based upon his sales, he figures is anywhere from about $350,000 to $400,000 a weekend. Okay, so at 2% sales tax, it's $8,000, so $32,000 in a month in sales tax. So the beauty of this here, so we're asking for about $1,200 a week. It's at the $75,000. So the beauty of this is people who may not participate in video gaming, they get to go and have the benefits, and those that, and so it's no, money isn't being taken from property tax, sales tax, any of that stuff. But the advantage here is now we kick in another $32,000 in sales tax, which is used directly for roads, and that's huge. So you take that, 32,000 times 12 months, what that equals is a mile of resurfacing of a resurfaced road that we don't have to find any other revenue source to pay for. So it's a huge success, and I'll be voting yes.
All right.
There are some positives to it. You guys are putting signage up where there should probably have been signage for parking. You are encouraging workers to park further away from the downtown, and you're going to use the city lots over here for encouraging the parking. So that is positive, because I think that's been one of the biggest things, is just signage, letting people know where they can park, and also changing some of the signs then from 2-hour parking. Most people cannot eat dinner and get done in 2 hours. I think if the signs would say 3 or 4 hours in the evening, or just telling people exactly where they can park, we wouldn't have a parking problem, and we would have a lot of availability. I think part of the problem we've always had is the 2-hour parking on some of the streets, and people are like, well, I can't park here, or parking 9 to 5. Even our city lot here has always said Monday through Friday parking. People are afraid to park here, but now if you just change the signs and tell people, hey, you can park here, people will know where to park. So I think we're moving in a good direction that way. I just don't think $75,000 necessarily is a good use of valet parking for the city, because what happens when you take it away in a year or two or whatnot, when you realize, okay, are you going to leave it in permanently? So I think that's going to be a harder takeaway later for you, but that's why I'm voting no. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Let's do a roll call, please.
You got it. Saban. Yes. Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Duskin.
Yes.
Lobes.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Coretta.
No.
Motion passes.
All right. Next thing is PH1, vacation of a portion of Canal Street to the abutting property at 115 West Division. So I have a hearing I got to read for this.
Yes, you do.
All right, so this public hearing is being held pursuant to Illinois law to consider vacating the entire portion of the public right-of-way, Canal Street, to the adjacent property owner of 115 West Division, Lockport. I'm looking for a motion to open the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Darren and Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the city attorney will give a summary here of the vacation of that portion of the right-of-way here for Canal Street.
Yes, Mayor, members of the city council, I'm wearing my city attorney hat now. So for today's public hearing, it's in regards to vacating the portion of the Canal Street that's to the abutting property. This was presented and debated at the last Committee of the Whole meeting on March 3rd. Generally, when a right-of-way is vacated, half of it goes to the adjacent property and the other half to the other property. But the statute allows the vacation of the whole entire portion of the right-of-way to that one property owner based upon statutory reason, that it would be better for the city to have it vacated than to maintain it or improve it, and it would benefit the property owner. The property owner would typically pay for the market value of that right-of-way, and in this case, the market value of that right-of-way has been deemed to be close to $3,000 that the owner is willing to pay. But based upon the discussion from the last Committee of the Whole meeting, there were conditions that are going to be placed on the vacation of this right-of-way. Number one, the site needs to be cleaned up, in which, I have to give kudos out to the property owner. They did clean it up, and the left is the before photo taken on March 3rd, and the photo on the right is the cleanup afterwards. So they've gone out there, and weather was very nice to do that. They cleaned it up, they removed the equipment, the vehicle, and everything else that should not be out there. This is an indoor storage use, so anything that is stored has to be maintained indoors. They're also agreeing to other conditions, including, that they will replace the fencing that is in poor condition, and they will agree to that. They are also agreeing to, put in damage and replace a damaged light fixture. They're also agreeing that the light lines will be buried, and they're also agreeing to, do landscaping around the property that will make it nicer and buffer some of their use. So those are the conditions that they're agreeing to, and the actual vacation would not be in effect until all those conditions are met. And once they do that, we will have the ordinance recorded, and the property owner would own that part of that Canal Street. This benefits them because it quiets their title. There's issues regarding whether or not they can convey the title to a subsequent owner, and they're benefiting from that, but the city's also benefiting because the property will be improved. Both the owner and the attorney, Peter Kulis, is here if there are any questions that the members of the city council want to ask them, but they understand that this is that will be required in order for them to have that property for that business, and they've been very cooperative in the whole entire process.
All right, anybody got anything?
I just have a question, but it's more for council than it is for the, it's for, I said, if 9 of us walk down there, nobody's going to find Canal Street. So I think I asked at the last meeting, why is there a Canal Street when basically it's this location? I'm confused why Canal Street has to continue to exist when there is no Canal Street.
It is on the plat itself, and obviously they want to be able to have clean title to it. There's been indication, I think the attorney for the owner indicated that it should have been vacated years ago, and it wasn't, and that's a possibility, that the actual ordinance vacating that right-of-way was never recorded. So this is, even if it was vacated prior to that, there's no record indicating it. So it's reaffirming that, and at the same time, the city's benefiting by having that site improved.
Like, what's your concern? Like, what do you fear is the problem that's going to happen?
I don't know why we have to continue, once we abate it, I mean, I don't know if there's any responsibility saying, do we have to take care of Canal Street, Lockport, Illinois? I mean...
No, this is a portion of Canal Street. This is just part of it, and you could tell on the left, the plat of vacation, those are the 2 squares that's indicated. If you go and surveyors go out there and they figure out what the property boundaries are, they will find that, and they would say that it really doesn't belong to that property owner. So they want to clear title and to be able to say, no, we actually own it instead of the city. Because currently, the record from the Records of Deeds office, all the surveys that have been recorded indicates that that's a portion of Canal Street is on their business that they've occupied. So technically, legally, they're unlawfully occupying a property that's owned by the city. So if we did not vacate this, then we could take enforcement action and say you need to remove the building, remove all the vehicles, everything else, and the city owns it. So we're not required to put in a roadway there, but if we didn't vacate it, we can tell the business owner, your property is in the blue as outlined in the right map. That is their property line as shown by all the surveys. For whatever reason, maybe this may have fallen through the crack, but there's no record to indicate that the city actually lawfully gave that portion of the Canal Street to the business owner. So on paper, they've been illegally occupying the city's property.
I'm comfortable with that, yeah. I just didn't know if there was like some type of liability later in the future, because it's still a street where there is no street. So
There is no, and once you vacate it, we have no legal obligation to maintain it.
Becomes private property.
We have nothing to, we're not required to pave it, we're not required to plow it. The private property owner would, be able to continue enjoying their property as they've been doing for the last 30 years.
I'm good.
Well, I have a question now. So, because it goes over the canal path that the Park District maintains, the property line, what does that mean for that bit of the canal path? If it's in private property, then, could they just build a fence across it and say, hey, you can't come through here anymore?
And that would be up to the Park District or IDNR who owns that property to take actions to prevent them from putting that fence. But it doesn't, the fencing doesn't go over Canal Street.
No, I know it doesn't.
Their existing property, the property that they currently have, also has that same relationship, and it always has. It's had that ever since it was originally built and platted. They can probably speak a little bit closer, but they have always allowed access. I'm not sure if there's a specific easement that is placed on the property to allow for that path, but I know that there has been an agreement that has been struck to maintain that access point.
Is it like official, or is it just like, yeah, go ahead, I don't care?
It's a good question. I do not know.
Do you guys know? I'm
I
just
don't know,
curious
if
now.
Peter, do you know?
There was nothing ever recorded, and we've always stated that we have no intention of fencing the data. The only fence permit shows it not even covering that area. My client who bought this property within the last year, cleaned it out, has no intention of cutting out the access. We raised the issue, Chicago Title, Mr. Mayor, actually raised the issue when they were, we got 2 days.
And Peter, if you could come up.
Yeah,
so
sorry,
we could
man,
hear
that-
and record it and get your name for the purpose of keeping the minutes.
I'm Peter Koulis. I represent the present owner of the property, and Scott Studebaker, one of the principals, is here tonight. When we bought the property about a year ago, I had to call Sonny actually 2 days before the closing, because this issue came up about why was there never an ordinance recorded or a plat recorded? They asked me. Chicago Title did, and I said, I have no idea why one wasn't recorded. So we put money aside in escrow from the actual closing to get all these things cleared up. And the staff has been incredibly great. As soon as the snow cleared, I can't believe how much Scott has gotten done in the last 2 weeks. There's one yellow truck left out there and one dumpster to be hauled off. Everything else is gone. When I saw it in the snow, I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be here. And I called Sonny actually 2 weeks ago and said, if the snow doesn't go away, can we move this meeting back? Because I don't want to walk in here with a bunch of promises and nothing done. But it's been incredible how much they've got done. Don Dahl's doing all the landscaping. He's been out there. He's already measured for where the everything will go, including where the fence is being placed. The fence person's already been hired, and permits are going to be being pooled. Don's doing wildflowers because there's a pipeline that actually goes along the edge of the property also. We couldn't cut that off either. So it's really impossible to move the fence. Not only the access, there's a pipeline, and then they're burying all the electrical. Mike Joy's already been retained. So all these steps have taken place in the last 2 weeks. All the contractors are in place. The fence is ready to go. Don Dahl's ready to go. They're going to, clean up and repave the lot. Everyone's ready to go as soon as the weather keeps hopefully cooperating. Today's not so good, but Hopefully, we get there in the very near future. But everything's gone outside except one panel truck.
So in summary, then, what is it that exactly we are concerned
Well,
about?
what we've asked to
It's not
have happen
recorded?
is-
Well, no, what my concern is that, I don't want to speak for JR, but I think what he was saying is like, are we going to have liability if it's like a part of a road or right of way? And it sounds like once we give it up, we
No.
don't.
No.
Now, my concern, looking at the map and knowing that we'll now also go over to the canal path, is that, we love what you guys are doing. It's great. I'm happy that you guys are cleaning
We
up.
have
It's
no
fantastic.
problem with a condition being added that states we cannot fence it in and block access to that canal path.
That would be something I'd ask for, because if, you guys.
That is not an
you-
issue.
You fix it up, you love it, you sell it, then the next guy buys it and says, that's my land, right? And so that's what I'd be fearful of.
Right, because we have no problem, because we can't do it anyways based on where all the utilities are going to be and where all the pipe's going to be. So to add that as an additional condition to this ordinance, our client has no problem. He's been extremely cooperative because the city's been unbelievably cooperative with him.
Okay.
To get everything done.
I think that would be satisfied if we could put it in.
Yeah,
writing.
I'll put that in, I'll actually put it in the ordinance. That will be recorded, so future buyers would know that they cannot, and they agree not to obstruct the canal path, and, anyway, no improvements, no obstruction, no anything on the path.
Okay, all right. All right,
And
thank you,
Yeah, and
gentlemen.
there's also an easement in the canal, the portion that's being vacated, but those easements are being reserved. So we're not vacating those easements, like, Peter indicated that there's a pipeline under there, that's still going to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's already.
Yeah,
In
there's
place.
been no request for any easements to be abrogated, as they call it, to get rid of anything that's already existing out there.
Yep.
Okay. All right, thanks, gentlemen. If there's nothing else, then we'll have a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Aaron and Mark, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so now asking for a motion to approve ordinance 21008, vacating the portion of Canal Street. For a motion?
So moved.
That motion would be with the additional condition that the canal pathway, the IML canal, would not be blocked.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that was Darren and Mark. Can I have a roll call, please?
You got it. Saban. Yes. Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Loebs.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Coretta.
Yes?
Motion passes.
And the mayor gets to vote, since it requires more than a simple majority.
Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. Motion passes.
All right. Moving on, we've got, all right, F and 1 is looking for a motion to pass our bills March 9th.
Second?
Renee and JR. Can I have a roll call, please?
You got it. Saban. Yes. Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Loebs.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
And Coretta.
Yes.
Motion passes. Sorry about that.
All right, next is PD1, looking for a motion to approve Public Act 1010652.
I'll make that motion.
JR, seconded by Larry over there. Any questions, concerns? Okay, I will do a roll call, please.
Saban. Yes. Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin. Yes. Loebs.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Coretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, next is PZ1, looking for the adoption of the Lockport official zoning map. So looking for a motion?
You got Renee and Larry.
I'm sorry, was that? Oh, did we have them? Okay, I didn't hear it. So Renee and Larry. Okay, any questions, concerns on this one? Anything you feel like you need to elaborate? Okay. All right, then we're doing you guys are good? Anything?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
going off the agenda, a paper agenda, and didn't realize.
All right, no worries. Then we'll do a roll call then.
You got it. Saban. Yes. Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Loebs.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Coretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. And lastly, we have CED1, which is we're looking for approval for rezoning and subdivision for its resolution 21038 for property along Madison. So looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All right, it's Darren and Mark. All right, any discussion, concerns?
I do. Dave, what's the intention? Are you intending to sell the property, or are you,
I'm sorry.
are you intending to sell the property, or are you intending to build on the
Well,
property?
the single-family residence that is there now will be left alone. That's a 14,000 square foot lot. That's for sale. The other two lots, we haven't decided if we're going to sell them, keep them, or build on them. We don't know at this time. So either way, they would be zoned for residential, single-family, or RO. For they're almost double the size of a required lot in the RO district.
So, that's good. So, I mean, I do have
Yeah.
I have an opinion on it. So, well, I have no problem subdividing the lots. We've been doing that in this area since, the founding. My lot, I think 3 homes are on it now, considering what it was when it was first platted. So that absolutely is fine. My suggestion would be to leave it R1. Everything on the north side of Madison Street is already R1. I think I understand why there was a suggestion from staff to do RO Heritage, even though it would be kind of a thumb jutting out across Madison. It's just kind of that, do we make things as flexible as possible for future growth? And while I understand that, I personally would like to see it passed with the R1 zoning intact, as it maintains the integrity of all the property on the other side of Madison. Well, this is my opinion. But anybody else have anything?
Well, if approved, it's the same difference. You can build R1 or RO on it. And it was staff's recommendation, your planning staff, to change it to RO.
Correct, I know that. It wasn't from the petitioner, it was from staff, it was a staff recommendation, and I understand, I think, reasons
We
why.
agreed with, and that's fine. We're very agreeable with that.
The only thing that I have a concern with is that there's residential throughout on every section of that area. And I've heard from some of the residents that, why change it to RO for a potential buyer in the future? Let them make the decision, then they can come back and get the okay, and then it would be up to city council again to change it if they wish. And if there's strong opposed from the residents, that should be the residents and city council to change it in the future. Right now, I strongly do believe it should stay as R1.
Well, the fact that there are more duplexes in the area on Jefferson Street, 1 block over, there's several duplexes in the RO area.
Right, but right there, though, there are no multifamily, though.
I believe across the street and down about a few houses there's a duplex also, but it's,
Please, if you have something to say, please say it now. It's my understanding there are no multifamily.
Just for the record, we want to clarify, multifamily is not the same as a duplex. So the RO allows for a duplex, not a multifamily. I think that's the misconception, is that these are, I'm not, we're just staff answering questions, but just, again, using the word multifamily kind of clouds the issue. It's that they're able to build a duplex, not what you would traditionally think of multifamily. And that's something weird about the Lockport's code. Other communities, they would differentiate between a duplex and a multifamily, which is more than 3 units or more.
So, in my opinion, multifamily, a duplex is two properties sharing 1 wall. Okay. That's an RO, correct? Okay.
That would be allowed in,
So
or
does
nothing
multifamily
more
if you
than
go first floor, second floor?
it's not multifamily.
It's not multifamily. Yeah, this is not a RO allows for a duplex, not more than a duplex.
Yeah, just to clarify it physically
Okay,
for everybody, a duplex is 2 units,
right.
triplex 3 units,
What does it say it again?
triplex, so 3.
Triplex.
So in the RO district, we allow a maximum of 2 units in a structure. In the R2 district, we allow a maximum of 4 units in a structure. As an example, the MI Homes townhomes are 4 units in each structure. In the R3, we allow up to, I believe it's 6 units in each structure. And then the R4 is where you go vertically. And so R4 is what you see at Highland Ridge, some of those areas. And as a visual example that many of you may see going up right now, the Clover Ridge townhomes, or the ones that Larry lives in now too, those are duplexes. And just to put a context around this, the Clover Ridge duplexes per unit are selling right now for $425,000. And so I just want to clarify that when we say multifamily, when we infer rental, when we talk about those things, yes, a single-family home can be rented. Yes, a duplex can be rented. All of those can be rented anywhere in the city. We have them all over the place.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with rentals. That's not my concern, because you're right, everybody rents stuff all the time, house, and whatever. It was just the putting potentially 5 families in those 3 lots as opposed to 3 families.
Well, there's a house on the south lot, so that's not a duplex.
So you get one where they live, and then if you do 2 duplexes, then it's 5 families total, so.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, before we go any further, the motion on the floor, and it's been seconded, and now we've had a discussion, is to rezone that to RO, okay? So that's what the discussion is not keeping it R1. The discussion is rezoning to RO. Now, so I think that,
That's fine.
that's what the discussion is.
Correct.
Okay, and so,
So what I'm doing here, Darren, is if like there's a consensus to keep it,
that's not how this works. How this works is, we would have to have a
motion.
a motion.
Exactly. So that's where I'm leading up after we have a cordial discussion.
Correct.
So after that, I was going to say, after everybody said their piece, if anybody wants to make a motion to modify this to say, hey, we're willing to subdivide it, but keep the zoning R1, great. If there's a second,
I'll make that motion.
Actually, I would recommend doing a separate motion for resolution number 21038, and that's for the approval of the final subdivision. There would be a second motion to approve ordinance number 21-007 for the rezoning.
Okay.
That's, I think, the contention right there, but once you get
right, so that's fine.
resolution 21.
So the truth is, I made a motion, like, in general. So let me make a real specific motion then, because there's 2 different things on here.
Yep.
So I made a motion, hey, let's approve, this our single family. I didn't actually say, let's approve resolution 21038, and then another one, which is resolution 21007. So we can do them separately. So let me just make it clear then, which one of these 2 I'm actually asking a motion for. So I'm looking for a motion to approve Resolution 21038, which is the re-subdivision of the property located at 18th Madison Street.
Okay, before we do this, we already have a motion on the floor. What do we have to do now?
What you could do is, under the Robert Rules of Parliamentary Procedure, someone could make a motion to bifurcate that motion, because that motion included both the resolution and the ordinance, and you would have to vote on bifurcating that motion. So that's the hyper-technical geeky
Sure, so we can do
parliamentary
that.
person.
Although personally, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I think the motion's moot anyway, because I made a general motion to approve this, not
Yeah.
individual pieces. But if you want to, if that's happy, then I need a motion to bifurcate so we can vote on these separately.
I'll make a motion to bifurcate.
Okay, bifurcate, all right. I would need a second.
I second.
All right, and then this way allows us to vote on these separately
Yes.
properly. So can I have a roll call for that?
For the bifurcation?
Yeah, it would be a motion to bifurcate the original motion.
Okay, okay. Bifurcation indeed. Okay, Saban.
Yes.
Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Lobes.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Coretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so now we'll do individually like I should have called it in the first place. So I'm looking for a motion to approve Resolution 21038, which is the subdivision of the property.
Can I ask a question before we have a motion? Are there any other properties zoned RO?
Here,
Not,
area.
not
Here you go,
on,
here you
not
go.
north of Madison.
Just look at this one, that, where you see
East.
the yellow.
Yeah, I'm sorry, east of
Where you see
Madison.
yellow is now all is all R1.
Okay.
And this is all RO, the lighter yellow, that's all, so that little thing, that little,
Right.
that would become that color
Okay.
compared to all the yellow, the other ones.
All right, so, looking for a motion.
Do we already have the motion?
I can't remember who said, yeah, but
2103.
I don't think, nobody seconded it or made,
You didn't say
No.
that, first it.
yeah. I need a first and a second for motion to approve 038.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. Mark and Catherine, so I need a roll call on approval for that, unless there's some questions. Still outstanding questions?
We're voting on rezoning it from
This,
R1.
no, this is just
No, no.
subdividing it into
Okay,
three.
yeah, so if
I thought we just did that.
you know, I'm gonna
Subdividing.
call,
Got it.
okay, just for clarification, the motion pending right now that will be on a roll call vote is to approve resolution number 21-038, which should be to approve the final subdivision property. So the subdivision map is right over there, is to approve the subdivision only.
Got it. All right. Any questions before we do a roll call on that? Okay, roll call, please.
Saban.
Yes.
Schreiber.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Lobes.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Beretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so now the second motion is the one that more or less, I think, what's been up for discussion. So I'm looking for a motion to approve 21-007. I guess before I do it, before I get Darren all up in a knot, if everybody wants to say, no, I'd rather do R1, I don't want to be like, well, you can't back out now. So what's the right way to do it?
It's currently zone R1. It's, so,
Right.
okay, so.
So if you voted down, it'll stay R1.
Yes,
Correct.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's.
that's
there's-
the vote we're
this- yeah,
taking
This
now.
is not an annexation where we're rezoning it from unincorporated Will County to here. It's currently zoned R1.
All right, so looking for a motion to approve 21-007.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Mark and Darren. So then, the bottom line is, if you guys vote no, the zoning stays R1 as it is. Everything north of, or east of Madison Street is the same zoning as R1. Or we can choose to, if we approve it, then that spot will change to R.
So I just have to go to Lance, since this was his original suggestion. Okay? It doesn't matter to me whether it's R1 or RO. Okay? So, is there any reason why we should vote no and to keep it R1, or what are the advantages of changing the zoning to RO?
Yeah, I mean, from our standpoint, the reason why we originally suggested this or recommended this to the applicant, or requested, I should say, is that, you know, in our opinion, at a staff level, you know, we believe that this corner is a access point to our heritage residential district. And I think that it makes sense to have this designation. It does allow for some slight modifications to the bulk requirements. There is a slightly smaller setback on a couple different faces. As everybody has probably surmised from the conversation over 2 meetings now, the biggest issue that has arisen is the difference between one single-family house and the opportunity to turn a single-family house into a duplex. And, you know, ultimately, you know, from a staff level, we have no issue with a duplex. We think that there can be an equally quality structure and home in a duplex as there can be in a single-family residence. And we think that it makes sense at that point in this location to have that be a part of our access point into the heritage residential area.
Okay, well, you know, from my standpoint, it is, I will take staff's recommendation.
So let me ask you a question then. So let's say it's rezoned to RO, Dave builds 2 single-family houses on there. Because it's RO, somebody buys it in the future and says, I'm going to subdivide it into two units, which is one of the problems that we face throughout the district, is like taking single-family homes and cutting them up, and it's become problematic. So then I've got people wanting to park in the street because they can't fit everything in the driveway and everything else. So potentially, I'm going to make one of those problems for a future council that we're trying to rectify elsewhere.
I would say that the largest problems that we have are the homes that have been broken up into 5 units or 4 units. That's where our biggest issues come from. The 2 units that we have, there's some great examples on Division Street that are done really, really well. And I think that they can accommodate that.
Okay. Anything else?
I agree with what Joanne said, is just let if Dave goes ahead and sells the property, let's talk about rezoning then.
All right, let's do a roll call then. Remember, no keeps it R1, yes makes it RO.
Okay, Saban,
Yes.
Schreiber,
Yes.
Bergbauer,
No.
Galogly,
I always say, I don't like people who say no without a reason. I am voting no because I don't want that one lot to be like we're doing a special favor. So sorry, Lance, I usually go with staff on this one, but I'm going to go no.
Deskin,
Yes.
Lobes,
Yes.
Bartleson,
No?
and Peretta.
No?
I'll vote no. Break the tie.
Thank you. Motion fails.
All right. Thank you for discussion. I appreciate it, council. Anything else? New business before we end?
Oh, happy birthday to Mark
Happy
Lobes.
birthday, that's right.
Mark.
He's 19 now.
I'm 19, yeah. I'm still the youngest person in the council.
Oh, shut up.
Well, you got closer to that.
Shut up.
All right, looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mark, Catherine, all in favor?
Way younger than me.
Baby.